Fortnite has been around for over 7 years, and in that time we've had some crazy mythics, but which one of those mythics are the best? Now there are over 100 mythics to choose from, and I narrowed it down all the way to a top 10. But this time, unlike my other two videos, this one's gonna be completely opinionized, which means none of this is facts, this is just my list. And since it's completely opinionized, I'm already expecting all the comment warriors to go down and fight me on it. But it looks like that's just something that I'm gonna have to deal with, so let's hop right into this. The first gun making the top 10 is gonna be Brutus's minigun from Chapter 2, Season 2, and let me just say, this thing is a beast. This thing had a better wind-up time, better accuracy, and more time before overheating than any other minigun in the game. And this was at the peak of scrims in Fortnite, and if you had this, your team was just shredding through people's builds. Now, the reason I'm probably gonna get so much hate was because the damage that this gun did compared to a legendary minigun was completely the same. But if you were unable to hit shots all the way back in Chapter 2, then you would resort to using this minigun. And the structure damage that this gun was doing was just crazy. I mean, this gun was the definition of spray and pray. But I already know how many of you are gonna hate on this choice, so you can just voice your opinion in the comments.
Bitch, I hope the fuck you do! You'll be a dead son of a—
In 9th place, I have the Infinity Blade.
Why the fuck is Thanos in there? Sing, 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 sing! Why is that in the game? Sing, sing!
This thing was one of the funnest things to use in the game at the time, and once you picked it up, you got 400 health. It was also really good for content, as creators would show it off as the first melee weapon to ever come to Fortnite. In order to get it, you had to sit up on top of Polar Peak and try to pull it out of the ground without anybody shooting you out. And for whatever reason, Epic Games decided to keep it in the game during the Winter Royale tournament, which gave us iconic clips of players like Psalm absolutely abusing it. I mean, this thing was doing 75 damage per hit, and it would destroy every single build with one tap. And the mobility you would get from using this thing was absolutely crazy. But at the end of the day, it's just a worse version of our number 8, which is going to be the Infinity Gauntlet. As soon as you pick this thing up, you turn into Thanos and get 1,000 health.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
You were able to get this in the Infinity Gauntlet LTM all the way back in Chapter 1, Season 4. This was the first mythic that we ever got in Fortnite, and it was absolutely revolutionary to the game. At this point, Fortnite had never had a crossover, and overnight, they gave us the biggest villain in the biggest superhero franchise in the world. I mean, if you were left to fight Thanos by yourself, you literally had to quit the game, because there was no way that you were beating him. The only major flaw is that he couldn't jump high enough, and his beam wouldn't reach far enough to kill anybody who was doing a skybase. Plus, his health would deplete so badly from the storm that you were almost guaranteed to win in a heal off. The Infinity Gauntlet was super hard to get, but if you got it, the entire lobby was going to team up on you. Now, in 7th place, I have the Spider-Man web shooters all the way back from Chapter 3, Season 1.
Fuck you, Travis. You still got some explaining to do. No.
Now, this is the first mobility item on this list, and these things were just so fun to use. I mean, you could literally swing around the entirety of the map, and you had people like Nick30 running customs with these.
Mods ban that guy.
They honestly weren't that hard to find, and the only time that you would ever take fall damage while using them is if you got shot out. Now, these things came out during the time when Spider-Man No Way Home was dropped, so the Spider-Man hype was just super high. Plus, the animations that Epic Games gave us with these were just super clean. I mean, the mobility that these things provided was just so good, and people were starting to compare the animations to the actual Spider-Man game on the PS5. No. Now, in 6th place, we have our first shotgun on the list, and that's going to be Oscar's Frenzy from Chapter 5, Season 1.
Get the fuck out of my room and play Minecraft!
Now, the Frenzy is probably the best auto shotgun that we've ever had in the game, and the Mythic version just makes it so much better. I mean, the fire rate plus the damage on this gun just made it completely unstoppable. Like, if you're fighting somebody with this gun and you're inside their box, you're killing them 10 times out of 10. Plus, as if the damage wasn't bad enough, this thing had 12 total shots. And the crosshair of this thing was so big that you were bound to hit at least 10 out of those 12 shots. At the time, it was the best shotgun in all of Fortnite. This shotgun was so good back in Chapter 5, Season 1 that even Clix was using it during his FNCS run.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
That's going to bring us to our top 5, which is going to start with Sky's Grappler and Scar. Now, the only reason that I'm combining these two is because you'd get them from killing the same boss. Now, not only did the Grappler have unlimited uses, but the Scar would absolutely shred. Also, the Scar's fire rate and damage were increased from what a normal legendary Scar would have. And if you were playing duos, one of you would get the Scar and one of you would get the Grappler, and both were honestly amazing. Plus, it came out during the peak of aim assist, so you had kids like Unknown Army who were just beaming kids with it. Like, just look at the damage that does.
Nice.
Epic Games took the Scar, which was considered to be the best gun in the game at the time, and they made it even better by making it a mythic. And having a grappler that had unlimited uses and didn't have a cooldown is something out of a dream. That's gonna take us to 4th place, which we have the Havoc shotgun that we got back in chapter 4. To me, this shotgun was just so good. It was the only shotgun in the game at the time that was able to hit a 200 headshot. There was no other shotgun in the game doing this.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
And the headshot damage wasn't the only crazy thing because the body damage was doing over 115 every time. This gun was able to one-shot someone in 0 build who had full shield, full health, and overshield. The only thing that would throw people off is that this gun only had 4 shots, but if you had good aim, then you were able to kill them in 1 to 2 shots. Halfway through the season though, they ended up nerfing it because they realized just how good it was, and they ended up making it so that the headshot was only going to do 210. I mean, I say only 210, but I would do anything to have a pump that does 200 back in the game. That's going to bring us to our number 3 spot, which is another Chapter 4 staple, the Mythic Overclocked Pulse Rifle. This thing was so good. When you hip-fired it, it would just fire so fast.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
The only way that you were able to get this pulse rifle is if you were able to capture the island back in Chapter 4 Season 2. And if I'm being 100% honest, it was completely worth it. You were able to ADS and shoot for accuracy, or you could have hip-fired and just shot for speed. But even when you hip-fired and shot for speed, the accuracy was just so good. And it's not like it had bad damage, because it was doing 38 to the body and 76 to the head. Plus, this thing was so accurate that it made shooting people out of the sky look like child's play. In terms of damage per second, it was like MYTHICS' drum gun, except it had better accuracy and better range. But even though the accuracy and range is better, MYTHICS' drum gun is still going to come out on top as the number 2 pick in my list. Let's be honest, at one point or another, the drum gun has been everybody's favorite gun. But this was a different beast, because not only did it have better stats than all the other drum guns, but this was when aim assist was at its peak. This was one of the only guns back in the day where you'd be able to take it instead of a shotgun and still end up winning games. Now, for those who didn't have the pleasure of playing with this gun back in Chapter 2 Season 2 and have only played with it in creative, let me just tell you, this gun has been nerfed to hell. Like, I'm ranking this as they came out into the game, and I honestly cannot wait for this gun to return. This thing was hitting 25 body shot, 50 headshot, and had 40 rounds. However, it's not as good as the number 1 mythic of all time, the cardboard box. I'm just kidding, you guys thought though, right? My actual number 1 is the Mythic MK7 from Chapter 3. This thing absolutely shred, and the only way that you could get it was from killing the rock. The MK7 was broken from Grey to Legendary, but once you make it Mythic, it turns into a different beast. This thing was super accurate and it had very little bloom. Plus the damage and the fire rate was increased from a normal MK. I think we knew just how good it was when we started to see that laser beam was able to shred kids with it. This was the first Mythic that we'd ever had in the game that had a first-person reticle. It was hitting for 26 to the body and 38 to the head. I mean, look, laser beam is absolutely destroying kids with this. Fortnite knew just how good this gun was, and they decided to add it back to Fortnite Reload as the rarest gun that you could get. And just like that, it's done. Those are my top 10 mythics in the history of Fortnite. If there was something that you guys didn't agree with, make sure you guys go drop a comment. I'll be fighting World War III down there anyways, so. But if you guys did happen to agree with some of it, make sure you guys drop a comment and let me know what kind of top 10 you guys want to see next. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.